Greetings everyone, and well, I think I'm gonna do something a little bit different while between projects and such. This is not going to be like back-to-back videos on this and such. As much as I would love to do this series and such, it'd be better to start with the first game, and I'd have to arrange a few things just to like show off certain things you can no longer show off anymore because, well, the Wii U server shut down, considering the video I've done on that project. This is more of an intro video and a bit of an intro video to our first weapon. Well, more of an intro part to the first thing of our project. So, what are we going to be doing? Well, we're going to try to climb this tower without any hacks except for one. And that hack is, if we go all the way down, risky rewards. The less hacks you have turned on, the higher the reward. And, yeah. The highest you can get in terms of a reward multiplier is 3.0. And, now that I'm looking at this, I should probably have my Nintendo Switch, app turned on for this because... Oh wait, it was turned on. But I should probably have this turned on more so as a just in case, so that way I can track the enemy names. Just so that way I can, well, give off names whenever possible. Our first weapon's going to be a simple one, and it's going to be the Splatter Shot. Now technically there are two Splatter Shot weapons for this challenge. But I want to try to decide something to do to make sure that... that 8's palette isn't made redundant. Anyways, with that said, I will be right back after we start the first palette. So, back in a moment. Welcome to Side Order, where you just can't get a good run after you failed to hit the final, to fight the final boss. Because the moment you fight the final boss once, your next attempts will just result in a downpour or a failure. Also, I think this is because we beat the initial climb and she's just hanging out. Just enjoying time with her sweetheart in this digital space. This digital adaptation of Inkopolis Square. Alright, Pearl. That's enough. Break time's over. I demand you come with me. Now, one thing I didn't know you can do, you can spin around. Like, you can spin around. And when you spin around enough... Yeah, that actually gets Pearl to do that. I don't like doing that because I don't like messing with the contacts of the stick. I mean, if there's one thing I wish I could do with this is get some Hall Effect sticks or something. Anyway, we're about to begin attempt number 18 of this. I'm probably going to be here for another long while and miss another few nights of sleep or something. However, our floors here are follows. But, oh man, having this and this here, good selection, but if this was main damage close, then I would take it, but this is also really good. Well, I'll take the field day pyramid floor. At the very least, this is a hard floor with 200 membucks off the bat. I think there's like some... I don't know what determines the RNG of each of the floors and such, or if something from the floors is influenced by it. But sometimes I feel like you choose enough hard floors, you get nothing but hard floors spawning from it. So yeah. Talk about a lucky break. Boy. Not exactly an ideal floor I want to do. Those drizzling capriosos, be careful of those. Now, they mostly spawn on splat zones and such. But if they spawn on any other floor, their purpose is to basically block your routes. So, basically, they'll drip a lot of ink, which is impressive for how little ink they spawn with it. And for what it is, at the very least, you're just dealing with, like, a lesser mook that their biggest threat is covering a big part of their floor. Good thing I had armor on. And don't glide, that was a very feasible challenge. Extremely feasible. Because you don't really need to glide through any of these floors unless you're in danger. No, we're not doing this floor, period. This is a floor we're going to deliberately avoid every time it's there. Okay. Splat ink recovery sounds really good. Ink pile drop also sounds good. I think I'll take the ink pile drop. This at least is a floor that's unique. Now, red chips are all about damage. They power up your damage, whether from far away, up close, in general, or they either speed up something like the slashing speed, the firing speed, how many bullets come out of your weapon, and such. And in some cases, you can even get poison ink, which basically just adds a property to your ink that damages damaged gelatins over time. Beware of these Leguendo, how are they pronounced? Name on screen. They will. Their main deal is that they are the cannon fodder. They are the weakest of the gelatins, and they spawn in basically by the millions. They are the easiest to take out. They're trash, as Pearl would put it. And this is more of a museum-looking aesthetic. There's factory levels and museum-type levels around here. These are like attractions that are on display and such. Though on some floors you would just see conveyor belts and such, as if it were a factory. And each tier of floors has a different theming to it. So yeah. Let's see. Inksaver sub sounds good. This sounds also good. Like, this could be a Spectrum floor, if possible. The support chips are all about, support chips are all about saving ink, recovering ink, and using ink to dispel foes. And we have a Spectrum chip floor. We have drone chips, which they're not enough to fill out a full palette, but as you can see here, for one floor, your palette is full to the maximum of what slots that are available. These chips are there to basically boost your odds. Basically allow you to have a bit of a power surge to ease the odds depending on what type of chip it is. And for example, we have the chip that we're going to be using the least. And that's because most of the chips that can be beneficial for it are locked behind hacks. And because this is hackless, well, it means drone chips can't be taken advantage of. So, yeah. Basically, what you're seeing are chips that are only existing through hacks, such as drone items, drone ink mines, drone sprinkler, which is really good to have because basically you have your very own Drizzling Caprioso on hand, and drone ink strike and such. Anywho, they're all about just basically having Pearl assist you, and we'll do a challenge with her someday. Okay, these are really good stuff, I'm not kidding. If only one of them was ink damage distant, but might as well increase my main damage. Basically, main damage distant and close are dependent on how far you are from the target. Ink damage close means the closer you are, the more damage you do. Ink damage distant means the further away you are, the more damage you do. And we have two of this, so let's show it off. Yeah. We did 312 per damage. If we were closer, we'd do less. So, the further it travels, the more damage it does. Now, this floor. This is uninkable terrain, as you can no doubt tell. So, and I think the main damage distant is also making the panicking Alamambos run for their lives. The Alamambos here are based off ocean sunfish. There are many different types of fish and sea creatures that the gelatins are based off of. And you know why they're named gelatins. They're like gelatin creatures with skeletons of the fish inside. But yeah. And we were like, sometimes your splat bombs can actually damage these things. You just ran straight into it. That's actually pretty funny. So yeah. Apologize for me being a bit slow with this. I'm just trying to multitask here. Anywho. Now, I do have a hefty chunk of change for this floor, but I don't want to go to the vending machine corner just yet. I do have a bit of things here and such. But, yeah, Ink Saver sub, Ink Recovery up sounds good. We have been doing a lot of panicking Alamambo floors. I think I want to increase my movement speed. Blue chips are all about movement. They're all about, like, either charging something because you're moving, or all about charging something because of your because you're moving, or increasing the speed, the movement speed in ink or in octoling form. They are all about just they're all about just basically increasing something that involves movement. And one chip, a series of chips that I can't really take advantage of since we're not using a weapon that would fit it or a special that would fit it, and that is rush knockback and rush damage. Basically, they involve you having some sort of rush to do the damage, and if you do run into squid attack and such, equip it, and then you can take advantage of those chips, because it means squid attack, which allows you to attack with squid rolls and squid surges, and it does damage and such. Main piercing sounds good. Poison ink also sounds good. This is really good if you have ink main damage distant. So yeah, I think I'll take the poison ink. I'll probably cut around the typing and such. So basically I'm trying to let someone know something. Something before I move on and such. And now we have a Splat Zones floor. Basically, Splat Zones, like the Anarchy game mode, has a tick, like a tick point rate. What you're supposed to do is make the counter run out to win the floor, and don't let any of the gelatins take those points away from you. If they ever take away your zone, decoloring your zone, and well, they will make the integer go downwards, and well, yeah, that's all she wrote. Yeah. So I apologize if I feel a bit like I'm trying to make sure I can be efficient here. So I want this. Main firing speed up is really good. This basically allows me to increase the firing speed of your weapon. Carry 3 of those, you essentially have an arrow spray. Carry more, and your weapon will just melt things. I'm not kidding. So yeah. And, like, if you have, like, firing speed and range up and such, complete with main damage distant, you're gonna melt these portals. What you can also do is that if you have, like, squid attack on, like, it's a risk, but if you have an open opportunity to squid roll around the portals, it does a lot of damage. Like, you can easily get the portals to start raising. And if, say, you have, like, a lot of special charge up or something, like, when you see the portals start to spawn enemies, wait for the portals to spawn their enemies, then use your Trizuka. So, yeah. You know, this might be a good enough floor to go for. I have gotten acrobatic triangular floor down to a science and such, to the point where, like, I just know a perfect method that basically works as consistently as it does. And because I have main firing up and main damage distant, well, you saw how quickly that thing went down. You want to make sure that every single gelatin moves all the way away from the portal you're trying to shoot down before trying to take down the portal. Like, bait them all the way over and you'll have yourself a much easier time going for it. When they're away from the portal you're trying to damage, you have an opportunity, and most of the time when you're attacking a portal, basically they'll try to start taking you down and such. And yeah, drone battery drop, that's not going to be helpful for us. However, this will be. I want main range up because I have 2 main damage distance, and combo that with shot spread reduction, you have yourself like a splash-o-matic with the firing rate of a arrow spray and the aim and the distance of a jet squelcher. Basically, there are many different types of shooters you can make, except the burst type shooters. I do find it a shame that, like, it's likely that we're not going to get any content updates for this. I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not do content updates and have them be free for anyone who's gotten the DLC. Because I would have liked it if they would have said there will be new content for this every season, and whatever content would have been, like, or at least every 2 seasons or something, and whatever content is added is like a big chunk of content. Like, imagine if, say, you got what would have been the hero shots of this game for as separate pallets, and you would get like 30 new floors per pallet, new chips or something, and they would have included new hacks to actually make the run harder for a bit of extra challenge. Just stuff like that. Or just have like hacks that will not count towards Hackless, but will allow certain chips to show certain chips that are normally hacks to show up or something. But now I think we're at the floor 10 boss. The floor 10 boss is going to be the easier of the bosses, or the easier of the 3 bosses and such. And basically, whenever you face a floor 10 boss, and we got Asynchronous Rondo, basically it will be taken out of the rotation of the bosses you can face on of the remaining bosses that you can face on floor 20. Asynchronous Rondo, that has many weak points and has the highest spawn rate for, well, gelatins, period. You want to hide behind these bumpers or go underneath the boss whenever the spotlight is getting dangerously close. There will be a point where it will speed up, and when it does, you cannot damage it for that time period. As such, it's speeding up right now. You can fire 1-3 things. Here's one of those things, that is the splat bombs. The splat bombs are a bit more numerous in its floor 20 variant. The more dangerous things you can fire are the most dangerous thing you can fire, ironically enough, is the when it speeds up is definitely the lasers. The lasers is the most dangerous thing it can fire. Nope. And in fact, it's speeding up again. Get behind, and it's firing. Oh. Yeah, it can be really nerve-wracking to basically be caught in the crossfire of all that. And sometimes, if you take out the top layer, you can basically defeat the boss right then and there. And there you go. Sometimes I have to get the boss, get the key in style. Keys were used to unlock parts of the locker that allow you to unlock pallets and other things about the game. So yeah. And we have a lot to spend, so let's see. Really? Not sure. Let's keep our chunk of change and just see if we can actually get another elevator to show up. Watch, that elevator, that elevator would have had, what's it, would have had triple splashdown or booyah bomb. Calling it now. Ugh. Crisscross floor, as you can see here, this floor is based on aquariums and pool rooms. And that's a bad idea. I am getting really reckless here, so let's get some distance. Find an escape route and just take it. And then let Pearl guide you towards the next Alamambo, or let her just guide you in case danger is nearby. Pearl will always point towards where any gelatin is, the closest by gelatin, and sometimes she'll even point to where where certain bosses are. So yeah, that was the hardest time I ever had on an easy floor, sadly enough. So yeah, stop doing this to me. I want this chip, but of course it's not on. It shows up when this is here. So yeah. Anywho, these chips these machines are manufactured by Express. These machines are themed after the vending machines usually seen around Japan. Yes. I'm taking this. Okay. I'm gonna want ink attack size up, because that is really good to have. Well, ink damage close. And then just let me take one single ink attack size up, and we're good. If we can get some splash radius, that triple splashdown can become brutal. It's a really good get the heck off of me button and such. And I've had it down to a science at one point. No, yeah, I'll take the mobile special charge. Might as well have equal opportunities to just boost odds of using my ability to damage. But because I have the ink damage close up, well, I can do more damage close on. If I can get another firing speed up, I can basically have something that outclasses even the arrow spray. And I 5-starred that weapon. I 5-starred dialect. Okay. This particular floor is going to have nothing but springing spiccatos, and it's going to have an enemy that you could have ran into on the first Tyrian flooring. This is the Towering Noblemente. Was the Towering Noblemente. This is what I like using my special for. Just get up to them and just fire straight at them. Send them away. And again, I feel this is a medium floor. This is not a hard floor by any means. So yeah. Anywho. Ferocious invading droves. That sounds good to have, but Springing double hill floor. You know what? Let's take it. I'm getting a lot of red chips this time around. I don't know if I talked about orange chips yet. They're all about, like, coverage and range. Like, it'll allow you to have your shots reach. It'll allow you to get boosts from covering terrain. And you notice that there are 2 turbines on this, excuse me. You notice that there are 2 turbines on the turbine towers. Basically, it means you can use this to, like, you can aim at either of them. Basically, it gives you 2 points to aim at the turbine tower. And what you want to do is make sure that, like, it will start moving as long as that red line is able to be surpassed. And one thing that I can definitely recommend if you're using this is basically you can just triple splash down and just basically slam straight down and be able to push it further beyond the checkpoints. The checkpoints will be the most resistive of them. This sounds good to have, but the problem is I forget about this floor. The fortress floor. No, wait, I remember this floor. It's the one with the smallest splat zone ever. Watch it. It's gonna tell me to not move in octoling form. If in case a floor is not worth doing, for example, if you have a luck build and you just get a floor that basically just that just requires you to basically remove one of your functions and such, just don't do the challenge. Don't do the challenge. Just treat it like a normal floor. And sometimes the game will just not let you, like, just, you know. Boy. It'll just not let you, fly on Pearl when you desperately need to. In certain cases, you kinda need the ability to just be able to swim and such. So, if it feels like it's not worth it, no, you don't. No. I needed to do that. I really needed to. I don't care if I don't get the bonus at that point. I'm just being a bit too reckless. Just don't do the challenge. Just save your run and just don't do the challenge if it's not worth it. Because, you know, like, if it's just too much of a... Oh, no, you don't. Basically, this is what I want to use the triple splashdown for. Nope. No. I wish... There's certain things I wish could actually save you. As you can tell, I've already ran out of my whatever bonus I could have gotten. No, you don't. Off of me! Huh. Now you know the real difficulty of rigorous floors in a challenge like this. That was easily the worst run I had on this floor. I'm not kidding. I am, like... Like, that was so bad. Like, that, I don't deserve that. Ugh. That was a really bad floor. Anywho. At the very least, we're finally beyond that. I wish this counted for if you had, like, triple splashdown, because you're literally rushing the ground. This is not worth it. I don't want to do that floor. We just did a rigorous floor. Even if the, like, the reward will be more than worth it. I've had bad luck with that floor always. So, what's the thing here? Stronger gelatins. I can deal with that. If it's like stronger gelatins, if it's darkness, if it's just like if it's just something that just basically I can deal with. Maybe I can deal with the with something like well, that worked. I love it when explosions just send something off the map if it doesn't outright splat it. Okay. Oh, yes. Sure, I can boost my speed, but yes. I want to get some of these. If I can get like 2 or more of these, like I could just basically turn portals into warheads, essentially. So, splash radius also increases the size of your triple splashdown, your booyah bomb. I have not tested it with triple ink strike. I don't know if it works there. But basically, it's just basically it allows your explosions to be much bigger, and when you have like higher sized explosions, check this out. Now my triple splashdown reaches even further, and it's one of the best ships to have if you have a special that's more so about blowing something up. Oh, how I wish Super Chumps was a special you can get in this mode, because it would be really good in this mode. So yeah, this particular floor is one that I've done several times. Ink. I really need to get some ink, guys. Like, ink saver main on this. But basically, use this as a means to get enemies off of you. Like, if you have an opening, just immediately use it. It will just get crowds off of you. It's really good for crowd control. So, yeah. Anywho. Well, tempting. Double hill floor. I want this, but I want this. I need the main range. Like, I have ink damage, main damage distant up. I might as well take it. Sometimes I wish you can get 2 chips that aren't the same, but are both beneficiary. But basically, this is the power of splash radius. You saw how much bigger that that explosion is. Ugh. 2 discs and I don't even have a single... Okay, let me look at my palette. Yeah, okay, yeah, I have disc piece drop. I only have 1 disc piece drop, and yet I'm getting discs like crazy. If I can reach that, that would be good. No, you don't. I didn't critical stasis, but it was worth it. I took a major gamble with that one, but it worked. I got it. Oh! Okay, so... this is good, but... given that I have triple splashdown in splash radius, let's pile it on. Of course, it has to be this floor, sadly. This floor always gives me trouble. Doesn't matter where I am, when I am on it. Doesn't matter if it's the easiest difficulty. It's the amount of enemies that can spawn from it. Because look at how many enemies are spawning from it. And on top of that, Noble Mentes really like to spawn on this floor. In fact, I feel there's like no other tier of flooring that has the most Noble Mentes than the second tier. I see them so often on this particular set of floors. You can see just how much more I'm able to do with triple splashdown because I just love this attack. So yeah. Ugh. Let's get one of those. I did push it a bit. Hey, buddy. Bye. Now, don't get too complacent. Remember that it's very easy to get complacent because you could just lose your footing and such and lose your map awareness. I do have trouble with awareness sometimes. But, ugh. Okay. Oop. Yeah. It's a very good get the heck off of me button. Anywho, now we're on the floor 20 boss, and this is where the boss is. This is where you get the hard mode boss of the floor. The floor 20 boss is easily going to be more about. I think you're hearing fireworks because it's the 24th of July when I'm recording this. Basically, it's parallel cannon, and on the hard mode variant, you only get one armor piece at the start, and you fight 2 Inklings at the start, and then you'll fight 3, and then you fight 5, which doesn't make any sense because usually it's a team of 4, and it should go beyond that. Anyways, one of them had the Brella. This one has the Roller, and they can be rather slippery. Like sometimes they can just move around and then just keep themselves concealed. And I just only did some guesswork on that one. Basically, one of them will always go into the fray with a triple splashdown. This one isn't. However, this one I think has blaster or something. However, the fact that you survived, most Inklings die from that. Because every time you're, like, if you're just in the circles of the triple splashdown, it's the death sentence. Ugh. There we go. There goes the blaster. There goes another blaster. I could use an armor drop, please. This one is a slosher. I have to maintain my distance. There we go. Pearl will always point out the direction of where they are. That is something that is most helpful about this fight, is that Pearl will always point their location to you with these laser guides, and yeah, there we go. And boy, am I always get nervous around parallel cannon because they're easily the hardest of the 3 bosses that isn't Overlorder, because you're essentially fighting other players, and if you're not careful with your setup, you can easily get flamed. Sometimes you kind of have to stand your ground on your fortress. There's one left. Let's give him the good old 1-2. Yes! Now that was awesome. So, yeah. Really? You put this here? I don't know when we're gonna come up across another vending machine. Watch, I'm gonna get nothing for this vending machine. But if you have splash radius, I mean, Pearl Splat Bomb might be useful to you because you do have a huge... Yes! And it looks like the game really wants me to use my, It really wants me to use my, splatter shot again, but I have the fastest weapon now. Oh, yes. Why is this a danger floor? I might as well take this. I do have splash radius up, so whatever to have this. The faster your fire rate, the more you can melt through enemies and such. But look at this. Like, the splash radius, like, even affects these things. In fact, it was able to reach those parts. Like, my firing speed is so fast it takes out certain mooks in seconds. So, yeah. This floor is on easy mode for one reason. It's the biggest splat zone in the entire game, even rivaling the actual game modes themselves. And the reason why splat zones are small is because, you know. Yeah. These are all good choices. I want this for ground control, but being able to extend my reach with my splash radius is good because you can cover an entire floor with good splash radius. So yeah. Strike the 8 balls. It's always these 2 floors. But yeah. Oh, great. One of these 2. Well, I guess my high firing rate, I lucked out. Nope. No, you don't. Basically, those gushers will be the portals of the floor. The reason for it is because of the different game mode. And because it's a different game mode, well, you have to deal with the fact that you're dealing with portals that you can't destroy. And you can see that that ball was able to stay in the air because of my high firing rate. If I can get to the final floor, that firing speed could easily lay some numbers on Overlorder. Drone splat bomb, mobile ink recovery, opens springing open. Okay. Let's see, dizzying, unstable, bounce pad floor. I'm a risk it. Like, I could have taken the cheaper splat bomb, but might as well take some ink recovery. It's good to have that. Well, I at least have chip saturation. Too bad it's so late into the floor that it's not much. But unfortunately, this is the road. This road, you have the entire middle section of this particular floor is uninkable. So, one strategy I devised: if it gets a little too hectic on one side, and it can be easy for it to get too hectic on one side, go to the other side. Cross the road. I'm not kidding when I say this is essentially the road, because it's structured like it. And you want to know what kind of gelatin owns this road? You guessed it. Towering noble mentes. You can see them trying to take aim at me from afar. So yeah. Look at how fast that went down. Well, at the very least, we crossed the road. The open season divided floor is what I call the road. Oh. Ink dam. Why does this have to be a danger floor? Like, sure, my ink damage is really good, but it's a danger floor, and I want to avoid those if possible. I might as well take the drone gauge charge speed up. So, yeah. even this floor, even on the easiest difficulty, the enemy spawn rate is just ludicrous. I'm not kidding. So, just take a moment. And just basically, just find your footing, get some space, do your special, stuff like that. If I'm basically trying to find my wording here, it's because I'm trying to focus on surviving. Because look how fast this goes down. That went down in seconds. That's how good ink firing speed up is. And if you can get to max, well, prepare for Armageddon. Shoot. There's a disc piece down there and I can't get it. But I can do this. Got uncomfortably close, but it worked. So, yeah. I'm just trying to process things. I apologize if I'm getting a bit incoherent or something. No. I've always failed that floor on this particular run. Like, if I can get some ink saver, that would be really good. Like, but knowing me, my luck is not going to be friendly to me. I mean, it's better than nothing. Like, being able to just always keep your chain up, it sounds good. I think yellow's become my more, my second most abundant color. I don't know if I talked about Agent 4's palette, how it's like, it's the most basic because it's the first weapon you try, the first special you try, and the first sub you try. It's just based on the palettes, and because there's no face applied to it, it's implied that it's just, it's usually left up to the player's decision. All the way down and all the way up again floor. This sounds really good. Like, you can tell that that these things are getting more pricey, and harder floors are more common. The third tier floors are more office-like. They're more office and, like, they're way more office-like and such. Like, I'm just getting flashbacks to Miles Morales, just looking at them. I think you might know what building I'm talking about when I bring up Miles Morales. So, yeah. And you can see the power of firing speed up. Like, look at that. That's just the tower's just moving at supersonic speeds. Oy. Ugh. But yeah. Basically, if enemies get too close to you, like, the enemy spawn rates are going to be, well, through the roof in this particular game mode. Like, if I could... No, you don't. I kind of needed to do that because I wanted to get a disc piece and I wanted to survive because I wanted to keep my armor and such. Being able to keep your armor is always a good thing, but man, when you don't have it, well, it can be the worst dealing with a huge number of mooks and using your special at the wrong time. So yeah. I do like this floor a bit. It's like the idea of just you climb down and then you go climb up. Ugh. Yeah. Special charge up sounds good. This also sounds good. If this wasn't a danger floor, I'd take it because it's actually something I could actually use. You know, I'll take the splash damage. Like, I would have taken... So yeah. Now we have to, now this is just all about just using what you've learned to basically survive, like I have. And before these attempts, I was actually practicing the floors. Like, I was actually looking at Hackless runs to see how they're able to handle this kind of stuff. And I might have to apply some of the knowledge I've seen into it. That splash radius is really coming in handy because it means I'm just basically taking control of the floor. Now, Pearl's reach with the step-off song is really dependent on where you are in the map. So when you use it, you want to start moving. So yeah. That would be useful if it wasn't on that floor. Because I'd be just throwing away the run right there because I've always had trouble on that floor. So yeah. If I don't get anything, at the very least, this is just a free floor or something. It doesn't really matter what I get at this point. I just have to be prepared for the final phase, because the final phase has always been trouble to me. Like, no matter what I do, I just end up getting splatted by either Overloader or someone else. Time for me to get set back another night and possibly another few recordings. Time for the control room. At the very least, I can take a break after this. Smallest, your parents want me to play with you. Hi, everyone. Ah, you came to visit me. Yo, Smallest, want to be the world's weirdest training dummy for us? Hehehe, I'm much more than a training dummy. I'm your worst nightmare. Okay, it's Overlorder. Complete with a couple of 8 balls for eyes. This is basically Portal's the final boss. It starts off with 2, then with 3, then with 5. And as you can tell, yeah, my firing speed is pretty good, but the problem is that it's so ink hungry. But basically, I just have to fire around it and be careful of my surroundings. If I get silent around Wave 3, it's because Wave 3 is so brutal. But I have to keep moving and keep my distance if possible. But yeah. It's just, this is a very brutal final boss. I'm not kidding. Like, with no hacks, this could be a very brutal final boss, and it took me like 2 days of attempts to get the one thing I want from it. And on top of that, Overloader can fire specials like Super Chumps, and in fact, here they come. Super Chumps are one of the specials you can't use. I'll probably talk about the specials at the end of the series. But now comes the biggest break-it moment for me. Because you want to cover as much ground as possible. Because Overloader can indeed cover the arena. There was certain, like, specials. He can fire lasers at you, or fire reef sliders at you. He'll fire 5. Like, if you hear a certain weapon sound, he's firing them. In fact, oh, this is bad. Oh, I got a little too close for comfort. That was not exactly the best idea. Of course, the train has to come around at this time at my most stressful moment. Okay, actually, I can't afford to damage that portal currently. I have to run. That... It's unknown how long he'll fire that. But... I think he's about to fire the reef sliders again. He's always going to fire 5 of them. Ha! Nice try. Ugh. Yeah, that's what happens if he fires those things at you. It's done! It's done! It's done! Yes! That is 1 weapon down. 10 to go. I can finally edit this. Finally. Wow, you and Pearl are super tough, 8. Right back at ya, bud. That was fun. Please come back and play with me again some other time. I am shaking, nervous, but final freakingly. It's done. Now I can finally go through the footage and put it all together. That's 18 attempts. 18. Yeah. So, now with that done, that was like almost 30 minutes in terms of in-game time. You can finally see what the fruits of that labor were like when you go to my extra channel to see all the failed attempts about it. Believe me, beware of angry dog noises. But yeah. So, let's go over our points earned. And let's go over the reason why I also picked risky rewards. Risky rewards don't even count towards a hack that goes against Hackless. But it does punish you if you fail. But because I succeeded, look at that reward count. It's done. So, if you want to donate, there are a couple links in the description below. Any amount helps. And if you want to follow this series and any others like it, it's just a simple click of the subscribe button and the bell. With that being said, see you next time for the next Let's Play, or for when we do the second palette, which is likely going to be dualies. But be aware, I am doing this in piecemeal, so I'm not going to follow this up with dualies quite yet. Even if I do record some preliminary stuff. So, I'm in Gigalem, and I hope you're taking good care of yourself. And with that said, stay fresh!